What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. I'll try not to sing. I really will. You know, even if I do a lot of karaoke shows, and even at the karaoke shows, most of the time I don't sing. Because if I sing, that's like 3 minutes that I take away from you. So I'd rather that the people that showed up to the show sing the songs. I mean, I do know that there's a lot of KJs, karaoke jockeys, that like to sing and get their voice heard. But I'm not that guy. I know that I don't have that talent. And really, that's not what karaoke is all about anyway. It's most of the time, it's people that really don't have that talent. They just like to sing. If you like to sing in the car, if you like to sing in the shower, you could sing on stage. Hey, speaking of entertainment, my goodness, this girl is very entertaining. Today on the program, I have Katrina Tecxidor. Oh, I know that name sounds familiar. Yes, if you're a longtime listener, you've heard a lot of her story. Well, we're going to catch up with Katrina Tecxidor in the next few minutes, so stick around for that. This week's shows, I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Oh, one of my karaoke shows. That's the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. I said it. Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. 8 until 12:30 in the AM. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Good times at the Rab. Hey, and then on Saturday, I save those days for weddings and parties, and I have a wedding this weekend. But unless you're invited, you cannot come. So check out DJLittleRock.com and book me for your wedding. Okay. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Katrina Tecxidor. Now, I did get her on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube. Use that hashtag, What Makes You Famous. All right, Skyping Katrina Tecxidor now.
You got your space background, and I got my Supergirl shirt, so we're dressed, we're ready to go. We're trying to get everything in frame. I don't know if it's working.
Bam! Supergirl's in the house. Yeah. I've been looking for you forever. Forever, ever?
Forever, ever?
Oh, for sure.
And I got my BB-8 cup.
Yes, you do. You are a geek unique. I think I put the right title on you, Katrina Tecxidor. I got Geekunique Cosplay, but I know you're so much more than that. But I guess this is going to be the Halloween edition of the What Makes You Famous podcast, since you're in costume and Halloween is this weekend. I usually don't like to date these things, but I will. I'll date it. I'll do it.
It's fitting.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I don't know. Something happened. Anyway, are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It might be notifications on my end. My computer tends to blow up with notifications on Facebook around this time. I'm not sure how to turn it off.
It's because you're very popular.
See if I can turn off Messenger. That might help a little bit. I don't know if it'll still give me notifications, but
people want to know Katrina Tecxidor. They do. They want to know all about you. And what the thing is, you want to know all about them because that's how you help people. That's the type of person that you are. You help people. Now, tell the people, for those that don't know who you are, who is a Katrina Tecxidor? For the long-time listener that heard the last podcast, we really went in depth on your life and found out a lot more about you. But I think, they can look back and see and check that one and find out that story. But right now, you're here to talk about other things that are going on in your life. Katrina Tecxidor, what's going on these days?
Well, more recently, we've been growing the company. CosMarketingAgency is my company, which all started from cosplay. Really, my love of cosplay and conventions. That's what got me out of my shell and set me down the road where, I worked for other marketing companies and then myself. I was doing a lot of freelancing for a while, hiring people here and there. The last time we talked, I think it's been over a year now since the last time I was on your podcast. I know you've been kind enough to have a lot of our customers and our friends in our affiliate network on, which is great, but it's been a while for us. I now have 8 full-time employees. We work very hard in the agency, round the clock, really. Quite a lot of work. I pretty much only take Sundays off, but I'm really grateful for everything that we have, and it's because of our wonderful people that support us, like you, KeysDAN, and all the wonderful people out there on Cyberland. But yeah, we've grown by leaps and bounds. The pandemic's been a funny thing for a lot of people. I think everybody, has a different story. They've become more successful, less successful, all kinds of different things. But everyone's got a story. And for us being in digital marketing, it's been more important than ever. Social media marketing, everything. They want people who understand the medium, how to attract attention online. So it's proven very beneficial. So we've really grown our business by leaps and bounds since we last talked.
Well, Katrina, I mean, that's the Venn diagram where we intersect, where we try to help people. We're people helping people. And exactly. When you said everyone has a story, people that go, hey, I don't know if I can be on a podcast. I'm not interesting. Nobody wants to know about me. From the day that you're born, you are gaining experiences. You're making memories, and you're gaining knowledge that could be imparted on other people and could help other people. So whatever your interests are, whatever you like to do, you could pretty much turn that into a job these days. I like talking into microphones, so I've turned that into a job. I do it 7 days a week. Well, no. I try to do it only 6 days a week because, like you, I take a nice lazy Sunday.
Yeah, Sundays are lazy Sundays. Taking a nap, family time, and I treat myself to some sweets. That's my self-care day. So yeah, absolutely. And you said help people who help people. I can't tell you all the time people come to me and they tell me, I have a small business. I'm struggling to grow this business. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure if social media is the answer or something else is the answer. And we come in and we're more than just marketers. We're problem solvers. And I think it's important also, and this doesn't get said enough in my industry in particular, I think integrity and compassion are 2 very important things when it comes to this. You have to really relate to people and see yourself in their shoes. And honestly, for me, that makes the work that much better. So if I don't care for the business, or I'm just not getting along with the potential client, I'll say, I wish you the best, but this is not going to work for me. But when I feel that connection and I can see that spark, that this makes them inspired, like like how I feel about my business, then I say, I'm onto something. This is going to work. And in the totality of our business being in existence, we have generated almost 40 million views for us and our clients.
What? That sounds like a lot. And how long have you been in business actually doing this officially as CosMarketingAgency?
It started in January 2018. So yeah, it's still pretty new. But I will say this: I did start out with a fan base, with people who knew me, and that certainly helped. with this whole process. But yeah, the business is only a few years old. It's still, we're past the point where it would be called a startup, but we're still a very new business, still considered a small business, even though we've grown so much.
Yeah.
So it, that's just another way we're invested into the success of our company, or the people who work with us, because as they grow, we grow too. It's all very, very cyclical in that way, and it's really rewarding seeing all of the changes. A lot of people, they're starting day one and their business hasn't opened, and it's the biggest investment of their lives, and it's scary for them. So to walk with them through that, and then at the end of a project, them saying this was the best decision I ever made. One of the guys recently, he works with us. It's a hemp company. He sells hemp oils and hemp bombs and stuff for your drink and everything. He was writing me, and he was like, after this last year we've been working together, I feel like we're family. He's like anybody would be lucky to have you as a daughter, and it was so sweet. It meant a lot. I'll be honest, I cried when I read it. So it's definitely more than a business at this point for me. It's definitely very personal, and I think that not only sells us apart, but is quite literally the key to our success. Absolutely, no question.
Well, I like that people think of you as a family. I liken you to the movie Jerry Maguire, where he just had that one client, and he really treated him like that. He was the only client that he had, through circumstance, if you haven't seen the movie. But yeah, he treated that client with the utmost respect. And of course, Cuba Gooding Jr., his character said, "Show me the money." So yeah, you were family, but you still got bills to pay. And I'm glad that you've turned something that you love into a business that helps other people as well. Man, it's and you say that you built your clientele previous to that. For those that don't know, tell a little bit about the things that built it up. Was it just the Geekunique Cosplay, or was it the modeling, or a combination of the both? What was it that was like the seeds of Geek of CosMarketingAgency?
Yes. Well, I think all the above: the cosplay, the modeling, fitness. I have FanFitGo, which is the longest platform. It's a fitness platform, the longest platform I've been running now for probably about 6 or 7 years, give or take. I would say if I have to do a throwback, right? Mm-hmm. The start really would be as a child, being bullied as a child. You just talked to Antonio not too long ago from Ecstatic Books. Mm-hmm. That's his platform, is anti-bullying. Being bullied as a child, I spent a lot of time reading, being stuck in books, movies, things like that, wanting to be like the characters in the stories and wanting to emulate them. Mm. And those are people who are not just physically strong in that sense, they're mentally strong. So that was kind of my, and I didn't have my father was in my life, but my parents were not together, so I didn't see him often, and that was very hard on me as well. So I had these female and male figures to look up to. As I got older, I was like, there has to be other people like me out there. I was kind of floating around different social groups, never really felt like I got along. And then I found MegaCon, which is the biggest convention in Florida. It is one of the biggest conventions in the country, period. Forget about just, nerdy conventions like Comic-Con type things. It gets over 100,000 people to 200,000 people every single year, and it's only growing. So even in the pandemic, they get those kinds of numbers, just to put in perspective. So it was a huge shock to me that not only were there some people like me, but hundreds of thousands. So when I got to MegaCon, I was just in another world. I mean, for a while, I'm just like standing there dumbfounded, like, wow. And we're talking about like over 10 years ago, I went to my first one, probably like 12 years ago. It was one of the first years that they changed from their previous name to MegaCon. I can't remember the previous name right now. Someone just reminded me of it the other day. Don't remember. But yeah, that was like a big shock to me. And people were coming up to me wanting to make friends with me. And I'm like, wow, because I'm wearing this costume, you want to talk to me? We have these shared experiences where they went through the same things when they were younger, and the comics helped them, the stories in comics helped them. And here we are at the same place, and some of them were not only in different states, different countries. So that really got me out of my shell and got me thinking, okay, well, if I could do this, what else could we do? And I would try something else and try something else. And then I got into sales. And then I got into marketing, found out that I was really good at it. I was really good at talking to people. Like I said, once I could find how I could relate to them, and I'm like, okay, I see a common bond there. I almost always closed the deal, closed the sale. But the companies I was working with, they didn't have the same kind of integrity. It was all just about the almighty dollar, selling contracts off to people overseas, and just having the sales agents there being, and then handing it off to people. And to me, I'm like, this is not good. If somebody's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, I'm going to at least give them a handshake, talk to them over the phone. So I said, you know what, maybe I'll sign up or maybe I'll set up my own company one day. I don't know. And then I'm at another convention interviewing people for this company. And a lot of them are like, or all of them that I was interviewing, they're like, man, you're working for this other company. You need to start a company. And I thought that was odd. And then that whole entire week after that, people who didn't know me were just I would get into conversations with people just randomly. At that point, that's what I did, and it was common for me. And they said, hey, you ever thought about signing up for a business? And I'm like, this is too weird of a coincidence. Let me look into what it would take. And then I figured it out. I made a plan for 6 months before I opened up the business. I saved a bunch of money, lived on ramen noodles, and basically never went out and did anything. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. And then the rest is history. I launched the business, but I was very, very, very specific about what I was going to do. Number one was going to be integrity first in this company. So if I'm gonna own a company, and it was in the back of my mind why I'm doing this, right, is to treat people good and give them good service. That needs to be number one, and that needs to never change. And the other thing was customization, making sure they got exactly what they needed. And I think it goes hand in hand with having integrity, right? Giving somebody what they need, not what they want. With a small business, they cannot afford the fluff. And social media that's a common misconception. It's not all fluff, right? The power's in the content, but you don't need an email campaign for a company that is targeting 15 and 16-year-olds. They're not going to see that email,
No. What would you do for them? Is it memes? Is it all memes for the 15, 16-year-olds, trying to sell them shoes or maybe some other products?
Instagram, you got Instagram, you have TikTok now, and that's where they're mostly going, and not just the content, the reels, the stories. Believe it or not, people are starting to market to younger people on WhatsApp. Things like that. Like, it's just completely different. But TikTok especially would be a big one for the super young audience, teenagers and younger, things like that. But the customization was the other thing that was really, really important to us. And those are the principles we've stuck with. Other things have changed. We wanted to focus mostly on conventions and cosplayers too, and entertainers and things like that. And we still work with them, but we've now broadened our horizons, and we work with your full gambit of small businesses. So some things have changed, but the core of who we are, why we do this, and what our goals are is the same, and always will be the same. So if I have to go back, I can't really say it's just the cosplay that led me on this path. I would say it's the circumstances of how I grew up. I don't think I would have been seeing the world from this kind of lens. I started out in, behind the scenes, just kind of being an observer. And now that I'm at the forefront, I feel like that gives me a different perspective, And it also makes me feel almost responsible for being their voice.
Well, you just had a birthday. Happy birthday. And,
Thank you.
you know, you're still young enough to where you can handle a client that was maybe a child star or somebody that's breaking into the business even way young if they're selling lemonade, you know, a lemonade stand. But then you can handle an 80-year-old that maybe, you know, they're retired or semi-retired and they want to wind down, but they're interested in selling their potted plants or their beads or whatever they're doing. So you're in that sweet spot right now in that age to where you can handle the very young to the very old, and you keep in touch with all these different social medias. Is social media campaigns the only way you need to go, or is radio and TV and newspaper? Grandpa, what's a newspaper? Is that still viable, or are people still putting ads out there on other media?
We actually have one client who does newspaper campaigns too, and his audience is actually 70, 80, and 90-year-olds pretty much because of the area that he's servicing. So old retired business owners. Is social media for every company? I would say most of them. It ultimately comes down to what is the company, what is your goal, and how fast do you want to do it? Because social media can allow you to reach a very wide audience very quickly. We've seen people on YouTube, for example, go viral with just a few videos. That's possible. Is it hard to do? Yes, but it is something that's possible. And that kind of viewership is only possible for something like your YouTube or your Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Maybe Twitter, right? Because Twitter is all about generating that conversation, maybe stirring up a little bit of controversy if that's what you're into. But I would say ultimately it depends on the company. I would say we are focusing more on content than ever, video than ever, and less on things like Google, less on ad campaigns that involved nothing but a search and a click of a button, a direct, quote, point of sale, because most of the people are browsing. They're not going to make a decision right away. And it's not just about getting somebody to come once, closing with them once. It's about having that recurring income, having those built-in referrals because you give them the kind of service that they'll want to talk about it and discuss things with their friends. And social media is not only a good way to do that, it makes it easy because now all you have to do, instead of typing up an email, getting on the phone, you just click and share. And then here you have thousands of other people that might be seeing your post. So it's becoming more and more important to the conversation, even amongst some of the companies that we have that do target a older audience. My grandfather, before he passed a few years ago, he built his own computer and he didn't know anything about computers for years and years. But when you're retired and you're looking for stuff to do, you won't pick up hobbies. And for him, he's like, I need to learn how to do this. Like, I don't want to be left behind. I like working with my hands and I love learning something new. So he got really into it. You'd be surprised. There are a lot of older people on social media and they have the event tabs too. So they put meetups there. There's all kinds of ways to be involved, especially Facebook. Oh, yeah. So that makes it easier too, because you have different ways to reach people all in one consolidated platform. But what is certain is every single company, they need a website, right? They need logos, they need banners, they need business cards, so they need graphic design. So there's really always something for us to do if they have a business, if they're a freelancer, models who need portfolios. Yeah. That's a big deal. Cosplayers are doing cosplay portfolios too.
Funny, the cosplayers that I've talked to, especially the ladies that I've talked to, they often marry a guy with a camera. It's a thing, Oh, he's got a good camera. Yeah, I think I'll date him. But you mentioned Google before. Yeah, you mentioned Google before, and back in the late 90s when I was building my website, and let me tell you, I worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. I have almost 500,000 pages on that thing. The thing I was worried about was SEO. Every page had to have different keywords on it, different little hints on the header. Is that even important anymore, having a website for yourself, or is social media even more important than that for the most part? I know that there's exceptions to every rule.
Well, I would say what's important is the totality of everything. You need a website. You need good branding, logos, banners, things like that. You need multiple social media pages, and ads on Google are not a bad thing. The problem with Google ads inherently, the problem with Google ads is because they're getting exceedingly, not a little bit, exceedingly more expensive all the time. As a rule of thumb, you have to have typically at least $500,000 a month just to really make any kind of headway with Google ads. And that's mostly just throw that in the toilet. It is for views. You can't necessarily consider that a way to get customers, more traffic to your website, things like that. And you're looking at 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a month before you could really make an impact. That does not help small business owners. Is that something that we do and a lot of our customers do? Yes, when they can't afford it. But there are other ways to reach people. You absolutely do need a website. There's no way for people to find you on Google without a website. And you have to certify that website with Google too. So you need what's called a Google My Business account.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be, at the very least, put together, properly built out, optimized, and ideally you want somebody who's going to monitor that too. So regardless, Google will find a way to get its money. That's the moral of the story. The moral of the story there. We're always constantly battling with new information from them and all kinds of fun stuff with that. And SEO is another thing you talked about. The rules of search engine optimization, how things rank on Google, changes all the time.
Yes.
That's something you need to do consistently and will never end in terms of work. It's like the movie Never Ending Story. It's literally a story that you keep on reading it. It just keeps on going. Those pages never stop. And then eventually it's the size of a house. You know what I mean? You just keep on reading and learning about this stuff consistently, which for a lot of people that can be daunting and scary. I like a challenge. That's in my wheelhouse. We do a lot of SEO almost for everyone to some capacity. It's just how much are we doing, which is super, super important. But yeah, SEO, all of the above. There's no real short answer to that as far as what certain people need more than others. At this point, we have millions of people in this country. People are going online 7 to 9 times a day now, or more than that, really, because that's just an average, right? It's a bell curve.
Oh, yeah.
So the best way is to be as aggressive as you can online, especially social media, and go in with a plan. Don't just haphazardly post or hope for the best. Hire a consultant. I have done consulting work. Mostly I get my team involved, but we do consulting work as well. Get someone to help you. Learn stuff yourself. I mean, a lot of my clients are also taking their own classes or doing consulting while I'm doing some of the work too. Knowledge is power. Never stop learning. Just consider that as part of what you do for your day and try to make it as exciting as you can. And just little by little, make a plan and say, okay, well, for the first 6 months, I'm going to do this. And then later I'll add YouTube. And then later I'm going to do Google ads and be flexible of some of this stuff, because Google could do a fun little algorithm change. And then here we are, doing something completely different, which happens. But I'll warn my customers. I'll be like, hey, I think they're up for a little algorithm change. Don't be surprised if this happens. And most of the time it's accurate, but you just never know when that's going to happen. They could do it once a year, twice a year, 10 times a year. you know?
For the searches that I want, my website pretty much comes up on the first page at least, like the DJ stuff. And I don't know if the podcasting stuff is coming up yet, the radio stuff. But, then you're right about the algorithms. But instead of taking my whole website down, I just kept adding pages and letting that little Google spider go out off through the website. Yeah. Is it better to have a big, giant monster of a website or a very simple little 7-page website that tells you what you need to know and then leads you out of there? Go buy something now.
Well, I think that a more streamlined website nowadays, if you ask people either or, do you want a website of a bunch of information? You want something streamlined? Most people will say streamlined. But again, this is why the customization format's so important. It ultimately depends on what you're going to do. Like we've had, as far as I can remember, one customer that we advised the opposite, to go really heavy with that. He wanted to focus a lot on blogging and writing articles, scientific articles. Ooh. So he had a hemp company and all kinds of other things that kind of was more in the tech-based side of it. They were focusing more on the science behind this. And this guy's a chemist, has won a bunch of awards. So he has that going on. So his blogs was supposed to be a source of scientific information to draw in the kind of audience that he wanted for his natural health and wellness products. So it was not like your typical thing. So for that, consistent blogging, we're talking about 2 or 3 times a week, was what we advised that he would do. But in every single article, we're talking about maybe 500 words or less. Yeah. So there were a lot of pages, but all of them were pretty distinct. Like this is just enough information, and then you click here for more, and it's another part of the site. And interlinking to different things in your site, Google likes that too. It shows that it's more relevant. It shows activity, things like that. So Google's always like, what have you done for me lately?
Katrina, this old man learns something new every day, and you're talking about staying concise. TLDR. I just found out what that little that an acronym means. TLDR. Too long, didn't read. So you don't want to make your content too long to read, which is why this meme culture has been explosive. If you can get it out in a meme, then more power to you. But you were talking about before with videos, if they go viral. I remember back when YouTube was brand new in the mid 2000s. CEOs were telling their employees, "Hey, go make me a viral video." Okay, boss. How do I do that? Go make me a viral video.
Yeah. And sometimes they'll still ask me too, like, can you make sure it's viral? And then, if you want to make sure something goes viral, there's 2 questions I have to that. First, what do you think viral means? Because that's the funny thing about that word. There are certain things that we say and we take for granted because we have an idea of what that means. To me, that might mean hundreds of thousands or millions. To an 80-year-old woman named Dolores in Kansas, maybe it only means a couple hundred because that's a big deal for her, or 1,000 views. So what does that mean? So that's good if it comes up, because then that's a discussion worth having. That's why educating your customers and letting them know how this works is very important. And depending, like, let's say we're talking about, a newer platform, or let's say when Instagram first started out, we knew that was going to be a big thing. Maybe you throw in a few $1,000s a month on Instagram when it first started. You have a better chance of going viral at that point because you have a new platform that's on the increase. You're putting a decent budget around it, and so things are looking good in that regard. But there's no way to definitively know this is going to go viral. And even if you repost the same video, no guarantee that it's going to go viral then, even if it went viral before.
Man,
It's
I
a
blew a lot of.
combination of
Oh
factors,
yeah,
you know?
I blew a lot of dough on Google AdSense back in the day. But you know, some of the I guess when YouTube was brand new, all you needed was a little kitten video or baby videos. I think that's what people were looking at for the most part.
Babies will always be trending, especially cats. The internet loves cats. Everything cats. I love cats. I just shared a meme to my boyfriend's mom about it has these little cat condos that are on top of a Christmas tree or attached to a Christmas tree, and it says like might as well go all the way or something like that, because cats are always climbing on the tree. So just to put a little cat bed there, so your cat lays on there instead of tearing up the tree while it's trying to go up in it. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them.
Meme for everything. They'll figure out a way to make a cat meme for anything. There are cat cosplayers. Look up cat cosplay. No affiliation with me, not a client, although that would be awesome, and I'd probably lose my mind. But these cats dress up in full costume. These people make these costumes individually by hand. They have like a cat Doctor Strange, and it has the circle thing, like it's you know, doing an incantation, and it has the robe, and it's so hilarious.
I like the mashups. I do like the mashups. The ones where they take something from the Marvel universe and maybe something from the DC universe and mash them up. You know, oh my goodness. You do all right. Let's have some fun here. What you do a lot of cosplay, and do you remember what that first cosplay when you were at MegaCon, that because that really brings them in. You know, you go into one of these MegaCons looking for your people. Hey, I'm a geek. I feel like, you know, I don't have a lot of friends right now, but I need to find my people. And sometimes at Comic-Con or at a con, you're going to find your people, and you found your people at MegaCon. What were you wearing back then? And you know, and tell me about your tribe as it grew now with the Geekunique Cosplay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me think. The first MegaCon I went to, I don't even think you could call it a real cosplay, because I think I was dressed up like a pinup sailor or something. I didn't know what I was getting into. So it was a nice quality Halloween costume, but still just a Halloween costume, which is, for people who are watching this, is they're saying a cosplay and Halloween costume isn't the same thing. It's different. Cosplay tends to be emulating an actual character, although you can make your own characters. It's different than going to Party City and just getting whatever's there, although Party City's come up quite a bit. And some of their costumes are getting pretty nice, because they're seeing this cosplay stuff and MegaCon stuff going out there, and they're like, maybe we could get involved in that, get some of these cosplayers to come here for at least some of their costumes.
This portion of the podcast brought to you by Party City.
Yeah. Shout out to Party City, sponsor us. But yeah, it was very, very simple. I didn't know what I was getting into, so I didn't do anything elaborate. And then once I realized it was for me, and I was meeting a lot of people, I'm like, okay, well, I want to do this all the time now. How could I take this to the next level? And I've always loved Batgirl. Batgirl has been one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character, my entire life. I always wanted to fight alongside Batman. She was the female crime fighter. She had the cool red hair and the awesome outfit, and she had the bat cycle too. And, you know, she got to fight some of the A-list villains too. It was just an awesome character. So my first real cosplay was my Batgirl New 52, which is custom made. The jacket, the pants. So it's more of kind of like a biker kind of look. It's meant to be something that someone could actually wear and move around in and fight, and then get on your motorcycle, drive away, do your thing. Like, actually, it gives you movement. And it's a more realistic kind of cosplay. So I got that fit from one company, including the cape and everything. The cowl was from another company. Prior, I did what's called a head cast. So they put a bunch of this cement stuff on my head. I had to hold it there with a tiny little breathing hole for like, I don't know, it was like 30 or 45 minutes or something like that. They did a whole cast of my head, which looked kind of freaky afterwards, you know, and the guys like holding around the head, like, oh, I got your head, you know, messing with me. Awesome experience to do that. And then I got the cowl custom fit to me.
Wow.
And it's a replica, an exact replica of the new 52 Batgirl cowl, which I think maybe in the newer version it's still pretty similar. I think they're kind of starting to streamline it. It used to be full face like Batman, and now it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But that was the first costume, so I got that from another person, and then same guy. I had him make me some props. So, and that's where it gets interesting. I have 3 batarangs that are gold, black, and silver. They're standard batarang size, and they are strong as a brick. And to get it to be that strong and have the pointy edge and that kind of metallic look was from the type of overlay foam, the overlay on the foam. It's EVA foam. But I forgot what it's called, but whatever they sprayed it with gave it a metallic look and made it strong. So and this thing has been all over the country, and it's taken a beating. I'm a little clumsy myself, and I've dropped it countless times. I mean, not even a scratch really, and it's still like I had to dull the edges a little bit because it was too sharp. And some of these conventions, they don't like anything that looks too much like a weapon. And I've had a lot of people insist, like, it's not metal, it has to be. It's really cool what they can do with these props now, how realistic they can make them. And then the same guy, he made me another set of batarangs. This one much larger and thicker. It's magnetic, so both of them clip together. And then you can turn it into a circular one so it looks like a disc. And it's kind of a mix of Tron and Batgirl together. So for my futuristic side of the character, I have my regular New 52, I have a futuristic side. I kind of try to do a Victorian version. It didn't work out. I still have some kinks to work out from there. I have like an old school Batgirl, not from the TV show, but from the comic. So basically my goal is to take Batgirl from like every generation up to the future, which is like what the Tron version was. So that one's mobile. It can be 1 batarang, 2, or it can transform into the disc. So when I'm not using it, since it's magnetic, it goes on my fridge, and people are like, "That's a really cool magnet. I've never seen a magnet like that. Where'd you get it? I want to get this magnet." And I'm like, "Actually, boom, ching," and then there you go.
Man, you know, you are putting a lot into it. I like that you're taking, all right, what is on a comic book, and then you're fan fictioning in it and making your own, like the casual cosplays. I get to DJ about every year, every other year. I couldn't do it last year, of course, with the COVID thing, but there's a cos prom, and these kids come, like they're superheroes going to prom. So you got Spider-Man, you know, maybe the mask, but then suit and tie, red and blue with the black. Oh my goodness. And Supergirl. See, you're even wearing a Supergirl kind of a casual cosplay. It just it blows my mind that people get into the fandom so much that it becomes you get to think about it and make your own. Okay, now Star Wars, George Lucas was talking about that when he remade Star Wars, and the fans all rebelled against him for redoing that.
They were mad at first, and now people are saying, "Oh, those were the good old days."
Yeah, Han definitely shot first, but do the fans own the movie once you put it out there? Do they own it? You know, then you got to listen to what they want. Like, you're the fan now, and now you're a creator as well.
And now I'm creating different versions of the character. Yeah. So and that could be tricky. I mean, and with small businesses, that's really hard. But I think once you get to a certain point, I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how it's done. I've had people say that I've inspired them, so they've done certain cosplays because they've seen me do it and they put their spin on it. And imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. There's a reason why people say that. I think that that's really cool. I never thought that I would be at this point if you had asked me, 10, 20 years ago. So for me, I think it's a good thing. I think it's the fans that at least carry a franchise and take it to the next level. And cosplay, frankly, it's free advertisement for these companies.
Sure.
Here I am with the S. This podcast could be viewed by thousands and thousands of people. So we're promoting, Big Blue here, and it works because I have, the same colors in my, in my cos marketing motif and everything. Yeah, so absolutely. And the casual cosplay thing has been hugely trending in the pandemic, right? For a while, we didn't have any conventions. We didn't have any meetups. People were, not able to meet in real life. So are you gonna, like my new 52 costume, you got the cowl, you got all these different layers. That works if I'm outdoors in that kind of environment because that's what the costume is for. But these characters are not wearing the same outfit all the time. So if I want to portray those characters consistently, how would they look like in these different settings? So it made a lot of challenges, but it also kind of forces you to be a lot more creative in that sense. Can I show you something too? Because you mentioned Star Wars.
Sure. For those that are listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version. Oh my goodness, she is pulling out a lightsaber. I have a cheapo version of that. Tell me about that lightsaber.
This one was actually a gift. It does several different colors. I think it's like 12 different colors. We have this one's pink. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, obviously it makes noise. It's a little hard to choose. Here we go. This is like like a coral color. There's a lot. Most of these colors are not canon. They're just,
right.
They're just for fun. Basically, I have a color for every outfit. I don't know if you could hear the noise it makes when you're moving it around.
Yeah, we can hear the noise it makes. It's fantastic.
The samurai hilt. So it's got like an actual samurai look. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's got like a separate sound system there that's like, it's like pretty loud. If it's in a quiet room, especially, like that sound when it ignites, everybody knows and they just like look.
You were talking about the colors. Do you know anything about the colors?
It's got some weight to it too.
Do you know anything about the colors? Green and blue are the good guys. Red is the bad guys, and then purple is Sam Jackson.
Purple was supposed to be more. Little bit more ambiguous. They're usually Jedi, right? How it was brought into the story. They're Jedi that use a little bit of the dark side, and then you have the yellow lightsabers that are used by the temple guard. So they're like kind of the equivalent of like a holy warrior kind of character. And they don't really take sides. It's just they're there to protect, certain ancient relics and things like that. They have the yellow, so they're a little bit more ambiguous, but they're not by any means dark side. Dark side uses exclusively red lightsabers, to my knowledge.
Yeah,
so
you went
most
beyond.
of those colors, like I said, are not canon. It's just if you're gonna buy a lightsaber like that, first of all, they're not cheap. So we wanted to get something that would really last, and I could use with anything. That part at the bottom, it unscrews so I could get a different hilt. So it's kind of like it's an investment, but it's a lifelong investment. I could keep this forever as long as I don't completely beat it up. But it is battle ready, so I could battle, if you will, with other people with lightsabers and stuff. And it does like the clashing thing.
Yeah.
Like it makes noise like when you're doing it, and then it's fun because you really get into it then. And because the hilt is weighted, I've actually kind of jokingly, but almost serious, said, "Oh, you can almost work out with it." And we were at the beach one day, and I did that. I'm just like swinging it around and stuff like that. And afterwards, I'm like sweating, and it's at night, so it's like the heat of the day is already gone, and we're just hanging out there. I'm like, well, is that in my future, like a lightsaber workout? I never quite got it to be like an actual circuit, but I'm like, some of these lightsabers, like you probably could, and it is a workout, right? Swinging around and doing all those things. They have actual, what do you call it? Like in karate, they call it the kata when you're doing your forms.
Yeah.
They have that in the Star Wars universe if you look it up. So you could do different forms, and that is kind of a workout. It's kind of like a mix of Tai Chi and all kinds of different things that they do. And there's all different kinds. So you could do more aggressive ones like the dark side, or you could do more defense for the light side. But there are some light side users that are very aggressive with their approach to, like Qui-Gon Jinn from episode 1. Qui-Gon Jinn is a little bit more of an aggressive fighter. Obi-Wan Kenobi is more defense based, so he's always like back like this, but then he'll strike, which is cool. So there's a lot of cool things. Like Star Wars, there's a reason why it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Well, you heard it here first. FanFitGo. Look for the Jedi workout with the lightsaber. That's an exclusive. Awesome. I think I'm ready for those videos to pop up on my Instagram or what have you. Look for your social medias, or if you can get George Lucas or Lucasfilms or Disney to sponsor you, I could see that. I could see FanFitGo producing some fitness videos with lightsabers on a beach.
Right.
Why not? Why not? Put it out into the universe or into the galaxy far, far away.
Well, and I think a lot of people are, fitness can be hard for them. It's a lot of work and dedication, and it can be frustrating. So I find that making it fun is essential. I used to get bored so easily. Just walking on a treadmill or pedaling on a bike, after a while, it's like, who cares? Even with the best music, you got to do something fun. You got to spice it up, or it's just going to feel like it's a chore. You want to be excited about your workout because it's going to make you look good. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to help prevent, disease and issues in the future. And healthcare is getting more and more expensive every day. We're in a pandemic. A lot of people are not seeing you unless it's essential and you have to. So, why not? Why not at the point? I've encouraged a lot of people in the pandemic to work out from home as well. I post a lot of at-home workout stuff that you could do in your living room. And I've lived in some small places, let me tell you. And I was still able to work out at home. Was it easy? No, but I had to get creative, which is, I not only do FanFitGo for other people, for me too. I'm always constantly trying to figure out something to keep it new and fresh, which is why I'm glad I still continued with that.
Well, Katrina, you're telling me the only day that you eat candy is Sunday. Is that the only day that you take downtime? Do you get to the gym, or do you have a home gym, or what is your exercise regimen?
I wish I had a home gym. That's the eventual goal. I keep on saying that. I'm like scoping out different things. And I'm like, one day that's my next step, is to have a home gym. Right now I have just some free weights. I have like the yoga bands, yoga mat. I have like all the little kind of things, but you put that together, it all kind of adds up. So I do work out from home. I do have a gym membership. I didn't always have a gym membership. So that's another thing that deters people too, is a lot of these gym memberships can be expensive, hundreds of dollars down. You're talking about some places are even as high as $100 a month now.
Okay, here, I used to work at Bally's in Winter Park. It was $1,000 for 3 years. That's as a salesman at Bally's, that's what I was trying to get you to do, was $1,000 for 3 years. And then what is that? Yeah, but that was there in Winter Park when I lived there for a little while.
Winter Park, yeah, I guess I can get away with that there because it's a more affluent.
No, it's Bally's. It was all over the country. There was over 400 of those things, and that was their standard.
Yeah,
that was their standard thing.
Yeah, they have a standard approach. Yeah, wow. So and not everybody has the time to go in their car and travel to the gym. And just the concept of, okay, well, I have to drive to go to some place to get to work out. Meanwhile, you have everything that you need right there, right there at your fingertips. Even if you have let's say you got a gallon jug. You have a gallon jug of water. Well,
8
that's
pounds.
something you could use for arm curls.
8 pounds.
You could use it like a kettlebell and lift it up. There's so many things that you can do. There are people who are bedridden or practically bedridden or disabled, who work out from their beds or their couches. It's really more about being as mobile as you can, making sure you get that blood pumping, because that's what can extend your life. I'm really a big believer in that. And the friends that I've had that have had COVID at this point, we all know somebody who has. The ones who keep fitness as a part of their life, whether it's very consistent or somewhat, I can see the difference between that and the people who don't, in terms of how long it takes for them to recover from it and things like that. You never know what's going to happen. I think we live in a world, unfortunately, where there could be a new pandemic every day now. It's mutating, things like that. So focusing on building up your immune system is essential, but do not forget about the mental effects. I don't think people talk about that enough. It's like a drug. Mm-hmm. When you work out on a regular basis, like for example, cardio, you ever heard of like runner's high?
I know it doesn't look like it, but I used to run a lot.
It gives you like a natural high, you know what I mean? And when I work out in the morning, I notice my day is a lot better. So I try to do my workouts as early as possible. And it's just like cleaning. You always feel like you accomplished something, even if it's a simple task. Start your day, do a little workout, even if it's 20 minutes, and your body and your mind will thank you for it. I'm a lot more sharp when I do. And coffee helps a little bit too.
Yeah. I guess when I worked at Bally's, it was caffeine was a thing that it was part of the exercise regimen. Getting a little caffeine, a little push, a little pump. All right. Yeah. So, all right. These are the tent poles. FanFitGo has been the longest running for you, Katrina. Do you still make exercise videos that people can search out and maybe get a little tips with? Because that's YouTube. You don't have to go to college anymore. You could learn everything on YouTube. You could teach people what you know on YouTube. I mean, I know. Did you do a little bit of college, or is this all school of life that you've done?
I have a college degree in environmental science, if you could believe it. Completely different. Yeah. And a lot of other people, especially millennials, they have a similar story in terms of, well, you get your degree in something, and then when you're done, there aren't any jobs. And like in my case, there were places looking for people, but they had a full staff, and the people that they were working with just did not want to retire yet. They were waiting until they could get their bonuses and their severances and things like that, and they were happy at where they were. Being in environmental science means you're mostly going to get a state or federal related job, a job within the government. So it was either the pay wasn't going to work for me. They wanted more experience. They're looking at me. I just came out of college. They're looking for somebody who's 10 years experience, or they just did not have the availability. They said, not yet. So, that was another thing that led me down the path. I had worked for other marketing companies that did a lot of sales, and I said that this is the route that I have to go to. And having the experience in marketing, I guess you could say communication, sales, and things like that, those are skills that translate to everything, in life. And that's something that can still, I believe, open the door for environmental companies, in the future too. And now I can provide assistance in a whole completely different way and give them more value. But the original goal was to be a wildlife biologist, to directly study endangered species. I had a concentration in sustainability. So yeah, we've worked with sustainability based companies though, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of our, that was my concentration was sustainability. And that's something that we still think about all the time. So since we're a digital agency, we decided to go completely paperless. So everything is digital. All the invoices, we do emails. We don't do, we don't do like physical print. We can do the graphics for business cards and things like that, but we don't do the print. So we're an eco-friendly company, and sustainable also in the sense of just like what we do. We consolidate things into just a few platforms, rather than having it in a bunch of different places. That also consolidates some of the costs for our customers. So I try to keep those principles in everything I do. But yeah, it couldn't be more different when I went to college versus this.
No, I like that. Every little bit helps. I do karaoke shows at the Rab on Friday nights, and people ask me, hey, do you have a little slip that I could fill out? No, just text me. I give them my phone number and let them text me whatever song they want to sing. Hey, do you have a book that I can look at songs? No, just Google whatever song is out there, whatever you want to sing. I got it. If it's out there, I got it. So making books, that was paper. Making those little slips to fill out, that was paper. No, go paperless if you can, if you have the ability, if you have the means. I like that, Katrina Tecxidor. Every little bit helps.
It saves money. It saves money too. You just put everything on the cloud. I have 2 terabytes of storage, and I've had it for years.
I'm scared of the cloud because I saw The Terminator. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. The cloud. I'm scared. Everything's up there. Wouldn't it be better to have your own little hard drive, or are you okay with the cloud? School me, Katrina.
Well, I definitely understand where you're coming from. Listen, we live in a world where essentially any company has access to our information if they want to. We sign those terms of service. I do it, you do it, we all do it. We click that button, we hit accept, and a lot of us, we don't even know it's there. I read the terms and conditions sometimes.
I skim.
But it's like, what am I going to scroll through all this? No. So, regardless, once you're somewhere, you can be tracked. For me personally, how I feel, and I understand if somebody feels differently, if I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not concerned.
So what's the convenience of the cloud rather than having your own hard drive?
I mean, it's the amount of space that you can get, which is like immensely larger, right? Because if you have a physical device, it's only going to hold so much. You have to transport it every single time. You have to go through an upload process, which depending on your internet speed, like if you're at like a cafe somewhere, that could be like snail speed, just like any day now, which could be frustrating. In that process, you could accidentally delete or tamper files, and that has happened to me. So I'm pretty confident. It's common because I look out for these things. Not only that, but it gives you the ability. The cloud gives you the ability to click and share with other people. So since I work with a team and I work with business owners, instead of being like, oh, hey, here's your floppy disk filled with stuff, I could just share it, and then we're both connected to the files, and it'll never go away. The information is always there. It's constantly being backed up. I don't have to worry about saving anything or physically transferring it over to anyone. That being said, if I was doing something like let's say a wedding, or a big corporate event, would I get something to physically back it up just in case? Yeah, because it's a big enough client that I could afford that extra comfortability, but it wouldn't be something that would be necessary, and it would make more sense for something like a wedding because you want to give them every type of copy possible, just so they have it. It's their big day, they may have an older family member that's how they're gonna see it, and that's just something that you do. But by and large, most companies don't need to do that. The cloud works fine. I've had no issues with it. Also, something like Google Drive It gives you the ability to not just share photo and video files, but you can make documents there and spreadsheets. So you don't need Microsoft Word, which is not cheap, by the way. You get that all for free just for having a Gmail.
See, that's pretty cool. All right, you're putting me on the other. You're dragging me across the line here because I moved my office online for DJing stuff. If people want to get their put their music or their planning form or their event timeline, it's all online. It's rather than me giving them paper. They get a login and then they go online, similar to your Google Docs or your cloud where you share things. It's good, man. You're leading me down the right path here, as you lead the people that your clients down the right path as well. Making sure that they're getting their word out there and branding themselves properly. Now, tell me about your branding, and as we wind this thing down, I know I've taken some of your time. Tell me about your branding and the ways that people can find you, and what sorts of jobs you're looking to do.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, and another thing I want to say about the files, it just popped into my head when you were talking about, that's very important. Let's say you have a business and you have an employee and you have to let them go for some reason. All we have to do is remove them from the files. They don't have access to it at a click of a button without having to worry about, well, I have this disk here and what am I going to do? And I'm going to have to destroy this. No, point and click. And it's gone. Just change your password, and then that's gone. So it makes it helps with that too. It's just something that came to my mind. But branding. So you were asking what goes into branding, like how do we brand companies? Was that the question? I'm sorry.
Tell me about your brand, Katrina Tecxidor. Because I see that you have helping hashtag small biz. I'm sure that's not your own hashtag. Do you have a hashtag that you use for everything?
It used to be creating always was a big one. Hashtag CosMarketingAgency. We use a lot of shop small or support local, shop local, or big ones that we do. Not just around Thanksgiving when they're doing all those big campaigns. All year long we do support small businesses, shop small, things like that. Free consultation, because a lot of these companies they you have to pay even the first time that you're talking to them. So we really put that in the forefront. We want to earn your business.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to charge you for a first conversation when you don't know me or you only know me from online and I'm just a person in a computer screen. So that we don't have a special kind of what you have. What makes you famous? I guess for us would be
my hashtag. Hashtag what makes you famous.
For us would be creating always would be our tagline, which started because I was talking to someone at the time and I was like, I'm literally always creating stuff for the business and I just can't stop. And they're like, that would be a good tagline if you could figure out how to make it catchy. So it's creating dot always dot. So it's meant to be said creating always.
Cool.
So yeah, we're doing a little bit of a rebrand now, kind of updating some things. So I think I'm going to bring that more into the forefront now that we talked about it. We started out kind of more kitschy, a little bit anime looking. Now it's kind of more 8-bit style, as you see behind me. A little bit of an 80s but modern vibe. They call it 80s new wave now, which is just current style. We seem to go backwards.
My kids playing
when it
Minecraft.
Comes to style lately, we can't decide what we're doing. There's a lot of 80s and 70s stuff going on right now, but with a modern edge. I'm all for it though. I think it's great, and I happen to love all the crazy colors and stuff like that. So I'm like, sign me up. But right now we're kind of doing some branding changes. We're going to launch a new version of our website too, which I'm so excited about. That my team's working on that. And we're going to continue to do what we've always done, help small business owners, more content, especially video. We've upped the video content in the pandemic tenfold. I mean, probably more than that. And in December, I planned on doing Holiday Matsuri, which is the holiday-themed convention here in Florida. A little bit of an anime flair, but it's like or not Halloween, sorry, Christmas. The Freudian slip because we're in Halloween now. a Christmas themed convention, so that it's all Christmas themed versions of characters. So I'll be doing probably Batgirl or Supergirl for holiday Matsuri. It's a good convention. Everybody's got the holiday cheer. There are a lot of small business owners there. A lot of people come from all over the place to holiday Matsuri. So that's the next major convention that we're doing. And besides that, I'd like to fit in something in between. We're looking into organizing meetups now that the pandemic's slowing down a little bit, like meet and greets with the company. Maybe eventually having a space outside of our homes. We all have our own home offices. I think would be good. Is the digital space where it's at in terms of advertising? Yes, but we're people. We want to, we still like the idea of, meeting people and getting to know them like that. And I think it can make the work a lot stronger, and it gives us an opportunity also to film, to get them on camera if they want to do that. So those are all things we're looking into, but it's not exactly developed enough where I can announce something, but we're definitely looking at a couple studios right now. That's all I'll say without giving too much away.
Well, Katrina Tecxidor, I like that you have these different avenues that you can explore, and you can mix and match them. Say you do have a grand opening at a certain business that's a client of your marketing agency. Maybe Supergirl or Batgirl will show up at the grand opening. That's pretty cool. And maybe she'll lift some weights with the FanFitGo. That's pretty cool too. So you have all these avenues that can be mixed and matched to help your clients out and help them to succeed. Do you have any shout outs you want to give as we wind this thing down?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, shout out to all of my amazing Marketing Agency employees, namely Jennifer, Jada, and Amy, because they've been really holding down the fort, doing a lot of our content and our admin work. I'm so grateful for them. I just saw Jennifer and Amy this past weekend. We just did Spooky Empire this past weekend, which was nice. We mostly talk online, so being in person, and it just was great. It was just they're a great group of people. Most of the people in the agency are female, so I guess we could say at this point we're a female led agency. Also, shout out to all of our amazing clients. Great people. I'm so happy to be working with very dedicated people. And besides that, I would say, look out for what's coming in 2022. We have a lot of plans, a lot of stuff in the works. We're looking to do more events, not just conventions, but business conferences, speaking events, all kinds of things. Just anything that is interesting to us. We're just going to get out there and shake hands now and meet people. I'm really excited for what the future will bring. I think more than ever. And again, it's to the credit of my team. I can't do it alone. I can't take all the credit. If it wasn't for them and their help, I don't know where I would be right now. So big shout out to them.
Well, you mentioned that you have your website is getting redone, rebranded, yeah. But it is CosMarketingAgency.com.
CosMarketingAgency.com, yes. And yeah. We're CosMarketing Agency on every social page except for Twitter, which is CosMarketing Pro, because they have a smaller amount of characters that you're allowed in your @ tag. Right. So there's CosMarketing Pro. But if you type in CosMarketing Agency on Twitter, we'll still come up.
Yeah, and you Googled that CosMarketing Agency all put together. It comes up with your Google, and you're out there. I mean, you got 66 Google reviews. That's pretty respectable.
You saw it's just crazy, and most of them are from this past year. If you look at it too.
That's hot.
Yeah, YouTube. We've generated more views for our customers than us, but our YouTube channel has been around. The CosMarketing Agency YouTube's been around for about a year now. I think we're up to like 250,000 views there. And you'll see there's a lot of content, but not a crazy amount for the amount of views. It's just been crazy. I'm truly blessed and honored to be here in this position. Absolutely.
Well, I enjoy following you around and seeing all the creative things that you do as well, and even the clients that you put forth. If anything comes
Yeah,
that
thank you so much for
oh
for having them on.
oh my goodness, I appreciate that getting to talk to them and getting their stories as well. But I do appreciate talking to you, Katrina, because over the years, since the last time that we talked, I've gotten the chance to see you.
Yeah,
But we only have these
17, I think we met.
yeah,
2015.
we only have these conversations on a podcast. I mean, it's tough. But it always makes me homesick when I talk to you because I lived in Winter Park for a little bit, but I'm from
I
South
know,
Florida.
yeah. And the Keys, right? The
Yeah,
Florida Keys.
the
You also
Florida
left, yeah.
Keys. Yep. All right, Katrina Tecxidor, CosMarketingAgency is the place you need to go. I mean, anything, any other shout outs or anything? Well, I mean, we got the last words for the people as well. So you can give those last words. It could be words to live by, something you heard a
Yeah.
long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head, Katrina Tecxidor.
I would say there's a lot of people out there who are apprehensive about starting a business because it's a lot of risk. And I was there. I would say if you want to start a business, if you want to make your passion into a business, don't let anybody tell you no, and don't stop. The minute that things are not going well and you think, man, this is not going to work, is actually when you're onto something. Because when I started my company, at that point, I had a lot of different things going on, and then at one point there was a fire that broke out in one of the apartments next to me, and every day it smelled like smoke until they fixed it, and I'm just like, how can I run a business like this? I put my blinders on and I focused. What is important? Getting myself out of this situation, helping other people around me, and doing something that I enjoy. I didn't want to work for someone else and make someone else rich. I wanted success for myself. I was finally ready for it, and every single obstacle, I just said, you know what, we could be onto something here, and I just continued. And it's not easy. So when you think you want to give up, that's when you should double down. That would be my advice.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Always a good time with Katrina Tecxidor, the Geekunique Cosplay, the FanFitGo, the Cos Marketing Agency. She's turning what she loves to do into a job, and if you're doing what you love, it's you're never working a day in your life. She likes helping people. She likes getting the word out about people. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Lifting each other up? I did just see a meme. We were talking about Star Wars. I did just see a meme with Darth Vader kind of choking one of his subordinates up, and he says, we need to lift each other up or something like that. And it was like, maybe that's not what that means. We need to build each other up. Not by the neck. No, don't do that. The Force will be with you. Man, that was a cool lightsaber. If you were only checking out the audio, check out the video. That was a cool lightsaber. It has many multicolors, and I could tell that probably cost quite a bit of money in there, but it's worth it, man. When you're as geeky as Katrina is, you spend the money. She even got her face molded to get her costumes to fit even better. What? That's like movie set stuff. These are cosplayers that really get into their craft. Yeah, you could spend a ton of money on cosplay, getting your stuff to look the way you want it to. Maybe not even, it might not even be, the movie version of it. It could be a whole nother version that either you or you get a company. There's companies out there that help you to build your costumes. Like she was saying, she got the main part of the costume from one company and the cowl from another company and maybe the cape from a different company. So yeah, if you want to get into cosplay, it's not, going down to your local Target or Walmart and picking up a costume, your favorite superhero costume. No, you got to put some work into it. It's time to get to work. I mean, hey, look, I'm not going to down anybody that puts on a store-bought costume and goes to a Comic-Con. Man, you're doing your fun. You're having fun. And we need to be building each other up. But there are those cosplayers that are going to kind of look down. Man, he didn't put a lot of work into that costume. Okay, that was me. I didn't put a lot of work into my costume. Nope, I didn't. I just went to the store, got myself a Batman shirt or a Superman shirt, maybe a Wonder Woman shirt. I don't know, and just went to the Comic-Con and had some fun. and isn't that what it's all about? So find her at that holiday con in I'm guessing it's in Winter Park somewhere in Central Florida. So yeah, find Geekunique Cosplay and FanFitGo and CosMarketingAgency. If you're a business just starting up, or you're a business that's been established and you want to get to that next level, man, you call Katrina Tecxidor. You do it. CosMarketingAgency.com. Check it out. Yeah. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Thank you so much, Katrina. Man, I look forward to talking to you again. I enjoy chatting with you. It's cool. I'm smitten. I had a good time. All right, if you would like to tell your story, yes, I'm turning my attention to you. If you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.